A very good afternoon and welcome to the midday news on Rajya Sabha television, where we get to the biggest developing news stories at the top of this hour. Let us start with the headlines. New faces in the Mehbooba Mufti cabinet in Jammu and Kashmir. Kavinder Gupta is the new Deputy Chief Minister. Satpal Sharma, Shakti Ram, Mohammad Khalil Band and Ashraf Mir take oath as ministers in the reshuffle. Government hits a target of electrifying villages with power, reaching Resigned village in Manipur. Milestone reached 13 days before the deadline. Now aim for uninterrupted power supply to all households by March 2019. With less than a fortnight to go for Karnataka polls, campaigning in full swing. Rajya Sabha special report from Mangaluru, where sign meaning has become a poll issue. And in Afghanistan, over 20 people, including a journalist, killed in twin suicide attacks in capital Kabul. At least 27 people injured in the blast that has not been claimed by any group yet. Our top story this afternoon, the Jammu and Kashmir cabinet today inducted 8 ministers in the reshuffle. Kavinder Gupta, the State Assembly Speaker, is now Jammu and Kashmir's new Deputy Chief Minister. Governor N.N. Vohra administered the oath of office and secrecy to him in Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti's cabinet. The oath-taking ceremony took place at the Convention Centre. The new BJP faces sworn in as ministers were party's state unit chief Satpal Sharma and the MLA from Kathua and Samba, Rajiv Jasrotia and Devinder Kumar Manyal respectively. The BJP also upgraded Sunil Sharma to the rank of a cabinet minister. BJP MLA from Doda Shakti Raj took oath as the Minister of State. The PDP ministers included in the cabinet were Mohammad Khalil Band, MLA from Pulwama, and Mohammad Ashraf Mir, MLA from Sonwar.
It has nothing to do with Kathua incident. Our government has completed 3 years in power. So we decided to have a reshuffle in the cabinet, give opportunity to 5 new faces. दो बीजेपी के विधायक दल के नेता रहे हैं डॉक्टर निर्मल सिंह जी, वे अपने पद से त्यागपत्र दिए हैं और उन्होंने स्वयं कविंदर गुप्ता जी का नाम विधायक दल के नेता के लिए प्रस्तावित किया, जिसको सर्वसम्मति से स्वीकृत किया गया.
Another big focus, all the villages in the country have now access to electricity. Resigned village in Senapati district of Manipur was the last village brought on the national power grid on Saturday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced this on Twitter. He said 28th of April will be remembered as a historic day in the development journey of the nation as the government fulfilled a commitment due to which the lives of several Indians will be transformed forever. He added that Resigned, like thousands of other villages across the country, has been powered and the news will make every Indian proud and delighted.
हम लोगों ने भारत के ऐसे सभी गांव जो कि विद्युतीकृत नहीं थे उनको विद्युतीकृत कर दिया, और जो डेडलाइन प्रधानमंत्री ने दिया था उससे हम लोगों ने 13 दिन पहले कर दिया. आपको याद होगा कि 15 अगस्त 2015 को स्वतंत्रता दिवस के दिन प्रधानमंत्री ने ये कहा था, ये प्लेज लिया था, एक संकल्प लिया था कि 1000 दिनों के अंदर ऐसे सभी देश के ऐसे सभी गांव जहां बिजली नहीं पहुंची, दुर्गम से दुर्गम गांव, वहां हम बिजली पहुंचा देंगे. और वो 1000 दिन पूरे होने के 13 दिन पहले हम लोग इसमें करने में सफल हुए. जो संकल्प प्रधानमंत्री ने लिया था, जो प्लेज लिया था, वो प्लेज पूरा हुआ. ये बहुत बड़ी बात. ये दुर्गम से दुर्गम गांव थे. अरुणाचल प्रदेश, मेघालय, गांव पहुंचने में 2 दिन 3 दिन पहाड़ के ऊपर जंगलों के बीच से पहुंचना है. तार ले जा रहे हैं, आप पोल ले जा रहे हैं, घसीट के ले जा रहे हैं, टट्टू पर ले जा रहे हैं, ट्रांसफार्मर ले जा रहे हैं. ऐसे गांव उत्तराखंड में हो या ये जम्मू कश्मीर में हो जो जहां पर की बर्फ है विंटर में और वहां से आबादी नीचे आ जाती है, उसके लिए इंतजार करना पड़ा. जबकि बर्फ पिघलने लगा तो आबादी को हम लोगों ने कहा कि वापस आइए, हम आपका गांव चल करके विद्युतीकरण करेंगे. गांव में और जिलों तक ये मटेरियल पहुंचाने के लिए सेना का हेलीकॉप्टर का इस्तेमाल करना पड़ा। ऐसे सभी गांव थे, ऐसे गांव थे।
Meanwhile, the Congress countered the announcement, saying that the present government is taking credit for what the party had done all these years. And our party spokesperson Randeep Surjewala took to Twitter to say that while the BJP has brought power to over 4,000 villages per year, the Congress has been electrifying 10,000 villages per year over the past 60 years. On to some other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged students from across the country to join the government's flagship Swachh Bharat Abhiyan for summer internship. Addressing the 43rd edition of his Mann Ki Baat radio program, he announced incentives including credit points by the UGC for participants.
भारत सरकार के 3 मंत्रालय, स्पोर्ट्स हो, HRD हो, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का डिपार्टमेंट हो, सरकार के 3-4 मंत्रालय ने मिलकर के एक स्वच्छ भारत समर इंटर्नशिप 2018 ये लॉन्च किया है। कॉलेज के छात्र छात्राएं, एनसीसी के नौजवान, एनएसएस के नौजवान, नेहरू युवा केंद्र के नौजवान जो कुछ करना चाहते हैं समाज के लिए, देश के लिए और कुछ सीखना चाहते हैं, समाज के बदलाव में जो अपने आप को जोड़ना चाहते हैं, निमित्त बनना चाहते हैं, एक सकारात्मक ऊर्जा को लेकर के समाज में कुछ न कुछ कर गुजरने का इरादा है, उन सब के लिए अवसर है और इससे स्वच्छता को भी बल मिलेगा। और जब हम 2 अक्टूबर से महात्मा गांधी की 150वीं जयंती मनाएंगे, उसके पहले हमें कुछ करने का संतोष मिलेगा। और मैं ये भी बता दूं कि जो उत्तम से उत्तम इंटर्न्स होंगे, जो कॉलेज उत्तम काम किया होगा, विश्वविद्यालय ने किया होगा, ऐसे सबको राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर पुरस्कार दिए जाएंगे।
The Prime Minister also hailed the performance of the Indian squad, especially the women athletes in the Commonwealth Games, saying that they had made every Indian proud. He expressed happiness at the enthusiastic response to his Fit India invite. He called yoga an inexpensive movement for Fit India.
फिट इंडिया अभियान में योग का विशेष महिमा है और आप भी तैयारी में लग गए होंगे। 21 जून अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस का महात्मा तो अब पूरे विश्व ने स्वीकार किया है। आप भी अभी से तैयारी कीजिए। अकेले नहीं, आपका शहर, आपका गांव, आपका इलाका, आपकी स्कूल, आपकी कॉलेज, हर कोई, किसी भी उम्र का, पुरुष हो, स्त्री हो, योग से जोड़ने के लिए प्रयास करना चाहिए। संपूर्ण शारीरिक विकास के लिए, मानसिक विकास के लिए, मानसिक संतुलन के लिए योग का क्या उपयोग है अब हिंदुस्तान में और दुनिया में बताना नहीं पड़ता है।
During his 30-minute address, the Prime Minister also made a strong pitch for water conservation. The Prime Minister said that an average of 32,000 crore rupees have been spent besides Manrega budget every year on water conservation and management.
जब हम सुनते हैं कि भविष्य में दुनिया में पानी के लेकर के युद्ध होने वाले हैं, हर कोई ये बात बोलता है, लेकिन क्या हमारी कोई जिम्मेवारी है क्या हमें नहीं लगता है कि जल संरक्षण ये सामाजिक जिम्मेवारी होनी चाहिए, हर व्यक्ति की जिम्मेवारी होनी चाहिए। बारिश की एक बूंद हम कैसे बचाएं, और हम में से सबको पता है कि हम भारतीय के दिल में जल संरक्षण ये कोई नया विषय नहीं है, वो किताबों का विषय नहीं है, भाषण का विषय नहीं रहा। सदियों से हमारे पूर्वजों ने इसे जी करके दिखाया है।
And now let's get you all the news from pole-bound Karnataka. With less than a fortnight to go for the Karnataka Assembly election, campaigning has picked pace. Chief Minister Siddharamaiah this morning addressed a rally in Yadgir, and in the afternoon he will be in Kalaburgi district in Hyderabad, Karnataka region, where he will hold rallies in Afzalpur, Aland, Chincholi and Chittarpur constituencies. Now, taking a leaf out of Prime Minister Modi's 2014 campaign, trucks carrying holograms of a 15-minute speech by Siddharamaiah will be sent to about 150 constituencies across the state and played. Meanwhile, BJP National President Amit Shah, who has been the party's star campaigner in pole-bound Karnataka, will be addressing a public event in Malayali Ground in Kullag Goldfields later in the afternoon today. And in the evening, he will be in Chakkabalapura district to address a public gathering. Earlier on Sunday, Shah held a roadshow in Karnataka's Tumkur district and he hosted a packed roadshow in Devanagere. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also hit the campaign trail and is expected to address about 20 rallies in the state from tomorrow. Remember, Karnataka will go to poll on 12th of May to elect representatives to the 224 seats in the Assembly, and the results will be out on 15th of May. And here is our special report. As Mangaluru braces for the upcoming election, the incumbent Congress is facing a big challenge to hold its tally, where it had swept all the 3 seats of the city in Dakshin Kannada. Now, the ruling party is particularly facing questions on the issue of sand mining, which is having its impact felt in the rural as well as urban belt.
Mangaluru, the most cosmopolitan city of Dakshina Kannada, is these days the ground zero of election activities. Last week, Congress released its manifesto in the city. BJP bigwigs are also slated to address election rallies and meetings in the coming weeks. BJP has said development is the only agenda for the Karnataka Assembly polls.
Whatever little development we are seeing today, it is the continuation of additional funds issued during the previous regime or funds which have come from the central government. Otherwise, per se, this government during the past 4.5 years has not done anything toward development in the city.
BJP has also alleged that Siddaramaia's flagship Bhagya scheme are burdening the state's treasury as it has not yielded the desired results.
If you calculate it per capita of Karnataka, each and every individual today owes 50,000 bucks. So this is not a small amount. The government of Karnataka, irrespective of whatever Bhagyas they have announced, it is a burden on every citizen of Karnataka, and this is just not acceptable.
The Congress is holding all the 3 assembly seats of the city. Among them is State Minister UD Khadir. The 2-time MLA claims that the opposition has no real issues to take on the government's record in office.
Our government feels that every individual, the poorest of the poor and the weakest of the weakest section, has got right in the asset of the state. So we have to make programs for them. See, people like these people, we have to make programs like Anna Bhagya, like their children should get milk in the school.
It's not just the issues like jobs for youth and Siddaramaiah government's Bhagya schemes. The opposition BJP is also questioning the incumbent government over the issue of sand mining, which they claim is impacting both rural and urban lives in Mangaluru and areas around it.
Who want to build their own houses, they're finding it very difficult to access the sand. The sand mafia is playing havoc here. Even a deputy commissioner of a district was attacked by the goons of sand mafia.
Though the NGT has banned sand mining in the state, Shashidhar Shetty, a local ceramic businessman and environment activist who had moved NGT demanding ban, claims rules are flouted even today. The government too admits that the issue of sand mining has not been entirely resolved.
रिवर जो है पूरा अभी खराब हो रहा है कि रिवर का बेसिन भी रिवर का जो बेसिन कहते हैं वो भी खराब हो गया और जो एनजीटी का लॉ है पूरा ओवरलोड करके ये लोग कम से कम 14 करोड़ रुपीस का सैंड लूट किया है अभी हमारा पीने का पानी भी सॉल्ट हो रहा है इधर
Problem has to solve, and the CRZ problem and this non-CRZ problem, these are not only on the state, it's on the center also. CRZ, the policy to change the CRZ code of rules also is been recommended by the government.
The activists, however, blame both the state government and the centre for continuing apathy towards the natural resources. Rajat Kane's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where 2 soldiers have been injured in an encounter with militants in Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. Security forces launched a cordon and search operation in Dramgab area of Pulwama district after receiving information about the presence of 2 to 3 militants in the area. As the security forces were closing in, the militants opened indiscriminate fire on them. Army has strengthened the cordon and an operation to flush out the militants is underway. Time to take a very short break. We'll be right back.
देश की सबसे बड़ी पंचायत में जनहित के मुद्दों पर होने वाली चर्चा पर आधारित कार्यक्रम संसद संवाद में आप सभी का स्वागत है। सरकारी कल्याण योजनाओं का लाभ लाभार्थियों तक सीधा पहुंचाने वाले आधार या वित्तीय और अन्य सब्सिडी लाभ और सेवाओं का लक्षित वितरण विधेयक 2016 राज्यसभा में धन संबंधी विधेयक की तरह पारित कर दिया गया।
And the core purpose of this law is that both center and state governments give several subsidies to people. In order to ensure that money reaches the right man, you insist on the identity of the person.
I have an experience in Tamil Nadu in the recent flood. The Aadhaar cards and the Jandan Yojana accounts helped a lot. 15 lakhs people has directly benefited.
The question that I pose to the government on this issue is, what is the government's contention on the issue of non-citizens getting subsidies, taxpayer-funded subsidies?
देखिए संसद संवाद सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Ghata, one of the oldest and most unique percussion instruments of southern India. You can play it not only with your fingers, but palms, wrists and heels as well. You'd be surprised, but the air inside the ghatam reverberates, creating the musical notes. 5 elements of nature, earth, water, air, fire and space make up the composition of this beautiful musical piece, which has found an apt place in most of the ancient books.
Welcome back after the break. The Congress party has sounded the poll bugle for the 2019 general elections. Party President Rahul Gandhi on Sunday addressed a public rally at the Ramlila ground in New Delhi, where he accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of not delivering on the promises that he had made during the 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Rahul Gandhi attacked the central government on several issues like the Doklam standoff, farmers' debt and corruption.
Congress's Jan Akrosh rally at Ramlila Maidan, outside the iconic Red Fort, seen as the party's election bugle for the 2019 Lok Sabha election. At the rally on Sunday, Congress chief Rahul Gandhi launched a strong attack on Prime Minister Narendra Modi over various issues, saying his promises remain unfulfilled. Rahul Gandhi also gave an open invitation to all to join his party.
हमारे प्रधानमंत्री एक के बाद एक भाषण करते हैं। जहां भी जाते हैं कोई ना कोई वायदा कर जाते हैं। भ्रष्टाचार की बात होगी, रोजगार की बात होगी, किसानों की बात होगी, मगर सच्चाई नहीं होगी।
Apart from party workers, the rally was attended by a battery of Congress leaders, including Sonia Gandhi, former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, present and former chief ministers and state leaders like Captain Amarinder Singh, Sheila Dikshit and Harish Rawat. Sonia Gandhi also addressed the party's rally and launched a sharp attack on the government, alleging that all sections of society were unhappy under the BJP rule. She called on people to support Congress to bring about a change.
रहने का समय आप में से हर एक को राहुल जी के साथ हम सभी को मिलकर अपनी आवाज बुलंद करनी है। जनता हमें साथ देने को तैयार है और हम हमेशा की तरह उनके प्रति संघर्ष करने के लिए तैयार हैं।
In his address, Dr. Manmohan Singh also raised the issue of unemployment in the country. With Mohammad Fateh Tipu, this is Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, the BJP has hit out at the Congress over its Jan Akrosh rally. In a series of tweets, party President Amit Shah said that it was a Parivar Akrosh rally that highlighted dynastic politics in the Congress, saying that the Congress has been sent out of power from one state to another in the elections. Shah said that he hoped Rahul Gandhi will apologize to the country for attacking every institution in the country. He said that the country is tired of the Congress's negative and arm-twisting tactics. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad also hit out at Congress President Rahul Gandhi, saying that the rally was a display of the Congress's quest for power.
उनके भाषण को सुनने के बाद ये साफ लगता है ये जनाक्रोश रैली नहीं थी, ये कुर्सी के ख्वाब की रैली थी, ये सत्ता के लालसा की रैली थी। कुर्सी के बिना न कांग्रेस के लोग रह सकते हैं, न राहुल गांधी जी रह सकते हैं। इसलिए आज जिस तरह की बातें कही गई कि हम 2019 भी जीतेंगे, हम छत्तीसगढ़ भी जीतेंगे, हम मध्य प्रदेश भी जीतेंगे, बार बार राहुल गांधी ने कहा है। उनकी अगुवाई में उनकी पार्टी बार बार हारी है। आज एनडीए के साथ बीजेपी 21 राज्यों में शासन करती है। हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी हैं और हमारे 15 मुख्यमंत्री हैं, हमारे 8 उप मुख्यमंत्री हैं। और ये राहुल गांधी जी और कांग्रेस की कृपा से नहीं, जनता के आशीर्वाद और हमारी ईमानदार मेहनत के कारण है। फिर भी वो कह रहे हैं कि आने वाला हम सब चुनाव जीतेंगे, लोकसभा का चुनाव भी जीतेंगे 2019 में। मैं कांग्रेस पार्टी से एक बात कहूंगा बड़ी विनम्रता से, दिन में तारे देखना बंद किया जाए।
On to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate the Buddha Jayanti celebrations at the Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium in New Delhi today. A conglomerate of Buddhist institutions will come together to showcase the various facets of Buddhist traditions. Prime Minister and other dignitaries will pay their respects to the sacred relics. He will also offer Sangha Dana to the venerated Sangha. President, Vice President and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have greeted the people on the occasion of Buddha Purnima today. President Ramnath Kovind expressed hope that Lord Buddha's teachings will guide people towards universal fraternity. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu called on people to commit themselves to follow the principles of universal love, compassion and tolerance assured by Lord Buddha. In a tweet, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that Lord Buddha's life was devoted to alleviating suffering and removing injustice from society, and his compassion has endeared him to millions. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today discussed infrastructure development of Kochi with the top district officials this morning. Those with whom he interacted included Mayor Somi Jain and Ernakulam District Collector K. Mohammad Y. Sefirullah. Naidu, who reached the city yesterday after inaugurating the new Kasaragod campus of the Central University, also had a brief chat with the sanitary workers here and the public. He also took a ride in a Kochi metro train. The Vice President also interacted with the passengers during the journey.
Good. Please be seated. Good.
And the next Pravasi Bharatiya Divas will be held in Varanasi from 21st to 23rd of January. Indian Embassy's Minister of Community Affairs in Washington, Anurag Kumar, has said that provision is being made this time for the participants to participate in the Kumbh Snan in Allahabad and then travel to New Delhi to attend the Republic Day Parade. Kumar added that the details of the event were being worked out to facilitate greater participation of the diaspora community from across the world. And on to the other top story of the day. Indian and Pakistani military will take part in a joint military exercise for the first time. Now, this exercise, to be held in Russia in the month of September, is a multi-nation counter-terror exercise being held under the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, or the SCO. It will be for the first time since independence that India and Pakistan will both be part of a military exercise, though the armies of the two nations have worked together in UN peacekeeping missions. The drill will be held in the Ural Mountains and almost all the SCO member countries will be a part of it. The main aim of the exercise, termed as the Peace Mission, will be to enhance the counter-terror cooperation among the 8 SCO member countries. India's participation in the exercise was confirmed by Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman during the SCO Defence Ministers meeting in Beijing last week. Let's get to the big international story. Double explosions targeting a central Kabul have claimed 21 lives, and among those killed is a journalist. The journalist, while rushing to the scene of the suicide attack, reports say that a suicide bomber on a motorcycle had blown himself up near Afghanistan's spy agency, and no group has claimed responsibility for the attack as yet. News from Britain now, where the country's Home Secretary Amber Rudd has resigned, finally bowing to more than 2 weeks of pressure over her handling of the immigration policy. Now, Theresa May's government has been facing criticism for its treatment of some long-term Caribbean residents who were wrongly labelled as illegal immigrants. The government has been struggling to explain why some descendants of the so-called Windrush generation who were invited to Britain to plug labour shortfalls between 1948 and 1971 had been labelled as illegal immigrants. The Windrush scandal has raised questions about Theresa May's 6-year stint as the Interior Minister before she became the Prime Minister. Rudd was under pressure to resign after she gave contradictory statements about meeting targets for deportations, and her resignation was reluctantly accepted by Theresa May on Sunday night, and in exchange of letters, May said that she was very sorry to see Rudd go. And that's all in this edition of Midday News, but news and updates continue on Rajya Sabha TV. Thanks for watching.